Suicide Squad anime, anyone? That's right, we can now experience these characters in anime form with the new series Suicide Squad Isekai. It dropped in the US and some other countries on June 27th of 2024, and it's gonna have a later Japanese release date. So what is this? Why is this? How is this? Well, they dropped the first 3 episodes at the same time. We're gonna take a look at the first one, see if it has that hook that gets its claws into you. And also because there's some interesting behind the scenes quotes and the like that I found to explain the headspace that this series is coming into the world with, I thought would be interesting to highlight. So this is going to be an off-the-cuff, more first impression style video, similar to what we did with X-Men 97. We're also going to have some spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything, this may not be the video for you. Just heads up, forewarned is forearmed, because we're going to talk about what happened and some of the choices they made there and why. I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, let's do this. So before we get into it, who's on the squad? Our squad in this case so far is going to be Harley Quinn, Peacemaker, Clayface, King Shark, and Deadshot. The choices are very movie-based. This is because when the series was announced in 2023, they had been working on it for a period of about 3 to 4 years prior, and so when you look at that, a lot of the choices that were made make sense. Clayface seems to be the biggest outlier, but also these choices are made with a more generalized familiarity of the characters of the Suicide Squad. This series is very much looking to present the Suicide Squad through a Japanese lens. It's largely looking to introduce these characters to a Japanese audience. This series is being produced by Wit Studio, and the head of the studio, George Wada, stated, "Through Suicide Squad Isekai, I would like non-Japanese anime watchers to notice there is a genre called Isekai, and there are other types of interesting stories that they've never seen. So I really would like this anime to be a window into anime and also the Isekai genre. Vice versa, I also will like Japanese anime fans to notice there is a DC franchise, because DC is not quite as well known to the main populace in Japan. Although I would argue that this series over on the Western front is probably going to appeal more to anime watchers already, so they may already be familiar with the Isekai genre. Most likely they are. Also, that genre does exist inside of Western media, it just doesn't have a specific name like that." One of the producers from Wit Studios elaborated on this point, stating, "In Japan, while there are some hardcore DC fans, most people just know the brand name and don't know its franchises deeply, so it's not that well known. So when I ordered the characters and the storyboards, I hoped that the anime would give the viewers a strong attachment to the characters. So a lot of the designs and the style and the vibe, it's going to be filtered through that lens. So if that sounds appealing, this may be right up your alley. Although if you're already familiar with the characters in the Isekai genre, it's not really going to bring anything too new to the table, and that's just going to depend on whether or not you find the ride enjoyable or not. As for what an Isekai is, it's basically being dropped into a fantasy realm. That is the Cliff Notes version. You're taken to another world. That's the translation, taken to another world."
Okay, back up. What are you talking about?
There are a couple types of Isekai in broad strokes in Japan. There's transition to another world and reincarnation into another world. In the one, you move over there, and the other one, you die and then go over there. Because as of episode 1, they don't seem to have died, this is going to be a transition Isekai. So with all that said, what exactly is the setup? What is this episode like? The episode drops you right in with Harley Quinn and the Joker. Harley Quinn is very much foregrounded so far as the center point of the series, which is understandable. She's had a lot of media exposure, and even if you were just to look at the Suicide Squad covers, she is often right in the center. So it's understandable how someone approaching this project could see the need to foreground her. Also in general, even if overexposed, she still is generally very popular. We open with some intercutting between her and the Joker committing a crime, and Amanda Waller trying to open a mysterious portal.
"Increase the load."
But that'll put too much strain on her.
There is no her. Only a tool we need to open the gate.
The Joker and Harley have a very ride or die dynamic so far.
Honey Bunch, you're the best woman alive.
That's because I'm your woman pudding.
As of episode 1, we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of also Suicide Squad vibes, the first one, in terms of their relationship. The depiction of the Joker that they're working with here is heavily inspired by The Dark Knight. Wada stated, "The first time I sort of recognized DC as a brand was The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's The Joker is the Joker that left a strong impression on me." And you can see that in the design. While they have the bleached skin and the like, they also have an extra large drawn-on smile, which creates a very interesting look. They also are foregrounding the more anarchist against society elements.
Nobody ever takes the leap, so we're just gonna have to help them all out.
One of my favorite scenes was definitely how he was escaping while playing the piano to drive the car and waxing poetic at the same time. It was so extra and over the top. The Harley in this is very much over the top, manic pixie dream girl, ride or die, battle Harley. The director, Ari Osada, had some very specific ideas as to how she wanted her to be depicted. She stated, "I watched a couple of movies that Harley Quinn was in. In some movies, Harley Quinn depended on the Joker, but in the other movies, she had fallen out with the Joker in fights with him. But it was hard to depict that kind of woman considering my personality. What I wanted was the next step of Harley being an independent woman. That's the image I had. Although I wanted her to be an independent woman, I also wanted Harley to look cute in front of the Joker." And you definitely see that so far in the episode. Harley functions independently, but she is still very attached to him.
Sorry, pal, but there's only one guy who can put his hands on me.
So some might find that off-putting right off the bat, while for others it'll be interesting to see this different depiction, or they may enjoy it more. Mileage will vary. There are also other little references peppered here and there to other media, usually surrounding Harley, like her watching a movie featuring the Joker stare dance, or her Ghost in the Shell moment. We go very quickly from this heist to people trying to capture Harley and the Joker. Harley warns the Joker, who manages to get away, and she gets captured by Katana. We also see that Amanda Waller has succeeded in opening this portal. Now the next phase of whatever her plan is can begin. She's opened the portal to another world. As for the specifics about this world, the production staff stated that they were going for something pretty generic because this is meant to be an intro to the isekai genre for people, so it's going to be a very standard fantasy world. They even reference this in the dialogue.
This is Alice in Wonderland sort of stuff here.
The Lewis Carroll book?
Though I believe the more popular term for it these days is an isekai.
That was Clayface. Clayface in this series is an interesting depiction. The hot boy smooth criminal look was a choice. He's playing a bit into being a vain, self-centered narcissist in this, which does work with the character, but it's being paired with the Japanese representation of such traits, so that makes it feel a little different. Bichuen most likely Basil Carlo Clayface for the win. With the portal open, Waller assembles the squad. The rest of the episode is basically banter between the different team members as they're sent to their location, and they explain the circumstances of how they're going to work and why they have to work together. Because they're going to explain some of the basics if you're familiar with the Suicide Squad, but things like the bombs in the neck, how they operate, what will happen if they leave, all of that.
Lay a finger on my girl and I'll put a bullet in your head.
I assume there are no more objections.
And with all the things established, the characters find themselves on location and things are kind of going awry. They also all haven't been fully introduced to each other. For example, while we, the audience, know that Peacemaker is Peacemaker, not all the characters do as of yet, as of episode 1. King Shark is also just eating all the people in this. Nom 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 nom. That is largely the crux of the first episode. It establishes the characters and the main settings and a little bit of some of their relationships, but not too much. And it also teases some future mysteries, such as why was this portal open and how are some other characters already on that side? Why are they there? Why is Katana there? Things like that. It's not the strongest mystery hook, but if one enjoyed what was presented, it's enough to want to go on to the second episode. So far, it's been very light. Even some of the pathos presented feels a bit lighter, even if it does have a bit more blood and violence and the like, it still feels lighthearted, which is what the director was going for. She stated that she likes things that feel a bit more fun, and so that's why there seems to be a bit of a tamping down on some of the angst that one may expect. The characters are being presented very strongly in terms of archetypes and tropes. This is largely because this is how they were viewed by Wada when they were negotiating as to which characters would be good to bring to the fore. He stated, "The Suicide Squad characters are really vivid and strong. The viewers would be interested in what the team or the individual characters would do next, how they would prepare to fight and what they would do. We discussed this in the anime genre called Isekai Mono at Wit Studio." Because again, there are multiple ways to define Isekai. I described two largely about how you get there, but you can break that down even further. Some people describe things like portal, immersive, liminal, intrusion, just in terms of how you feel when you get there and the like. So in Japan, it's a much more explored genre, definitely a lot more defined. And so when you come at it from that direction, it makes sense why this would be the approach for the Suicide Squad. Some of that element is there to try and ease people into being able to approach these characters and the setting from both sides. On the whole, the first episode was fun. It looks like there's a chance for this series to have some definite memeable or memorable moments, but maybe not be the deepest thing ever, but that's okay. So far, it's been fun and entertaining. Of the characters, the characterization of Clayface intrigues me the most because it seems to be the one that's veering the most in its own direction. That, and I just like Clayface. Now, of course, this isn't going to be for everyone. For some, the fact that it is playing with such generalized characterizations may put them off. If one's familiar with this team or this genre and looking for something new outside of just that combination of those two things together, they may not find it. Again, this is just looking at the first episode. It also, for some, may feel like a random collection of characters. crossovers or characters that are just being picked because they tie into things, for example, like the Gunverse. Although the synergy is lining up nicely, what with the building up of the Gunverse, and also the fact that this happened to drop at the same time as DC Comics summer event Absolute Power, which is a Waller-centric event. So on the whole, this was a very basic first episode. A lot of the novelty is just seeing the DC characters in this style, but enough of a hook to go on to the next episode. But those are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. What did you think of this episode? Did you know this was coming out? Are you interested? Do you enjoy this concept? Are you about to have a sub versus dub debate? If you're interested in continuing on and looking at more of the episodes, I would love to. Let me know by hitting that like button. That's right, it's a classic call to action. Does hearing the headspace and the mindset behind the development of this show change how you receive it? Your thoughts, I want to hear them. Please put them down below. And while you're down there, please do all the other YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.